We have all heard the saying, reading is fundamental. Today, in this episode, we explore a conversation that we had about leaving. And so, with that, we raise the question, is leaving fundamental? Man, maybe when it's time to leave.
Shh. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. We say reading is fundamental, leaving is fundamental.
Ooh, but do you know when? And you know what you know in your gut, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just can't. And why? Uh,
Yeah.
Childhood trauma. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I
So
don't want
many
to.
reasons.
Yeah, I don't want to be a single parent. I want my kids to have a mother and a father.
Hmm. So survival.
Self survival. Yeah, yeah.
I
Just
mean, I think it's also pride. I
mm,
think that it's also just an attachment, whether it's a social attachment, a personal, or romantic, just that attachment.
or toxic attachment.
Oh, for sure. Trauma bonding.
Yes, trauma bonding.
Hmm.
Woo. Don't we have a lot of that?
Hmm.
Not just in relationships, on our jobs.
Yes,
Ooh.
absolutely.
Mm, 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 mm.
Clients.
Oh, say that again for the entrepreneurs. How can you have trauma bonding with your clients? First of all, explain
Ooh,
in your point of view what trauma bonding is, because we can look up the definition, and people who are listening now, you can probably Google it or Chat GPT. But what say you, Shika?
what say me? So, trauma bonding is when I would say it's when the core connection of a group of people or two or more people, when it all stems around some trauma, some traumatic experience that they either shared together or that they have had individually, that they are connecting on as something that they have in common. I would define that as trauma bonding.
Mm. Now I'm going to ask ChatGPT, but I'm also adding a twist to it. My question to ChatGPT: what is trauma bonding, and when is it time to leave?
Oh,
So ChatGPT says trauma bonding is a psychological phenomenon that occurs when a person forms a strong emotional attachment to someone who is abusive or harmful. The attachment is typically developed through circles of abuse, manipulation, or extreme highs and lows in the relationship. The
mm,
term is coined by Dr. Patrick Carnes, who used it to describe how victims can become emotionally attached to their abusers, often mistaking
mm.
these intense feelings as love or loyalty. God dang,
Wow.
that's deep.
That is deep. So that's more so trauma bonding with the victim and the abuser. I was thinking of trauma bonding as just maybe two victims of a situation or an offense that are bonding either over that or something similar. But to take it a step further, that sounds almost like what is it when the oh man, when if somebody is kidnapped or taken hostage and then they start to love the perpetrator.
Right, right.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. Ooh. Mm, 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 mm. I don't know how do we get here? We were
We
talking.
got here because we just finished. We were just in an exclusive circle, an exclusive meeting, and this wonderful woman was sharing a story about leaving, and it really opened up the door and windows of a lot of emotions, a lot of reflection, a lot of thought about leaving in so many aspects, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Whew, that was so good too, and
It was so good.
it was so good. She wasn't expecting the feedback that she got. Well, I won't say the word feedback. I'm gonna say it was love bonding, bombing
Mhm.
got back because it wasn't like you should have done this, you should have done that, girl. I
Right.
would have done that. No,
Yeah,
it
why did
was
you stay?
exactly. It was totally opposite. It was wow. You are so strong. And when the young man said, I'm getting ready to call my mom because my mom went through the same thing, that broke me down. I was like, oh, wow. All
Yeah,
the
that was
men that were
deep.
in the room.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just reminded me too that you never know. One, you never know who's listening, and you never know what people's stories are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like
So,
you just don't.
yeah. So let's go back to the question, when is it time to leave?
Okay.
And we could go either way. It could be from relationships, from your job. If you're ready to leave America, hell, you know, and become a digital nomad. You know,
Oh my God, that is so valid right now. That is yeah.
hello.
Yeah, yeah, hello.
I'm
But
gonna read.
you know what? I love the idea of the someone someone said I may get this wrong, but it was something like the privilege of leaving.
Oh,
That was so good
that
because
was.
I can see how I'm speaking for myself personally, how I have viewed leaving as a loss. No, I don't want to leave this group, or I don't want to leave this contract, or I don't want to leave this situation. Um, you know, but there seems to, I think that when we think about leaving, a lot of times there's just an immediate thought maybe of loss, that there's something that I'm losing, there's something that's taken away from me, or that I'm going to miss out. But to think of leaving as a privilege, like I have the privilege to leave. No one is holding me hostage in this situation. It may feel like it,
Right.
but there is privilege in saying, I'm out of here, or no more for me. I want better. I'm done with this. Closing the door. Like I don't know that I had intentionally thought about leaving in a way that was around privilege. Like that is a privilege for me to be able to have that as an option. Because some people in a lot of situations cannot leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and for those situations, you may be speaking of people who are in abusive relationship where they're isolated from friends and family, etc. I can, go on and on about ways, but or reasons. But
Hmm.
what about if you're an entrepreneur and you're ready for a change, but you're gonna miss out on money if you stop doing this business, although you're ready for change.
Oh, oh my God, how many times have I had that thought?
Oh gosh.
Oh, and I think that's where faith has to come in some sense of self-security, right? Like being secure, knowing that if I'm making this decision, I'm making this choice to go this way, or to do this thing, or to not do this thing, to not go that way, then I'm doing this because I'm believing that there's more for me on the other side of that. There's more for my community, more for my family on the other side of this other thing, right?
I think you just freed me from something, girl.
How? What? What?
Because I really have been thinking about turning off my MF phone,
Mhm.
business phone, and doing something different. But yet, I feel like I'm needed. I do a great job. It's easy money because I've been doing it for so long, so it's not a strain. It's not something new I have to learn, and I can pick
Mhm.
up fast. But I want to change. So is it time to leave? Is it time to leave when you feel like you want to change, or is it the season? I don't know. See, I'm confused, but I think you just freed me in a way though. You really did. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen to this and listen to the words you said that I felt like okay, a little light bulb moment.
Okay. Okay. Because I think that the feeling of leaving is I think that when you have that pull to leave, I think that's probably not when the journey started. I was going to say that's probably when the journey started, but likely not. But
Okay.
that's just another part of the journey. But I think just the appetite to leave is something that's worth investigating.
Yeah. Girl, how you get so smart? Golly.
Girl, life, it's just with life. I have left many times. I have returned. I've not returned, so
Mm, And
all the things.
and you know what? Oh, you just said that how you've left so many times. I equate leaving for me. I don't like quitting things. I like to finish things. Like, I
Yes.
left college. I got to go back and get my degree, and I'm in school, and it's a struggle. But I'm like, I am not quitting. I was, in the military, and they were like, okay, it's time for you to go on a ship, and now you got to leave your kids. Nope. Now I'm going to go through divorce, so I can't leave my kids, and I had to quit. But I was like, nope, I'm going back in.
Mm,
I'm going back in because I don't like to quit. I want to say I did my 20. All these things where I have felt like I said I had to quit, and that
mhm.
I didn't want to quit, because I'm not a quitter, and so I put myself back in situation because I'm not a quitter. I'm gonna keep. Who does that?
We all do, and I think we have to redefine what quitting means,
Jesus.
because to say that I'm quitting something is also to say that I'm starting something, and it's also opportunity to say that is done.
Girl, I'm snapping my fingers. I'm snapping my fingers over here. I don't know if you can hear it. Oh my God. Listen, if you getting some out of this, hit like the thumbs up and put a comment in the chat, because we need to know if something is resonating with you, and maybe something you are going to put in the chat is going to, spark another conversation. But this is so good. Okay. So that was your first time in that group. I know people who are listening don't know what we're talking about, but we was in an exclusive group today. What did you get out of it?
Oh, man, I got so much out of it. And what was so cool is um, I love how minimalist it is.
Mm,
And what I mean by that is there's no pomp and circumstance, there's no flashy graphics, there's no um, like elegant intro and all of the charades, and it's not that. I mean, it's I love that it is very simple,
yeah.
which makes it for me easy to relax, easy to express myself. And even to be in a room full of strangers, it didn't feel like I was in a room of strangers. I felt like I was in a room of people who are like me, which is on a journey and curious about life and love to connect with other people,
Mhm.
in a hopes of always evolving and ever learning. So that was so very good for me. I don't know the last meeting that I attended where we paused intentionally at least twice just to gather our thoughts,
Mhm,
just to meditate.
mhm,
In less than an hour, we did that twice.
mhm, mhm,
Um, I love the no pressure with the gathering. There's no pressure to speak up. There's no pressure to do anything,
mhm.
just to be present.
Yeah, yeah.
I absolutely I love that. I feel that we need more spaces like that, especially now that a lot of companies are leaning more on technology for connection. So more companies are using Zoom or Teams, and other different tools, but folks are constantly online or constantly glued to a computer screen. And
Constantly.
I've seen that in my own job where, you have a meeting and hardly no one is on camera or people aren't engaged.
Mhm,
This was different. This was different. And it wasn't about work related stuff per se, just more so life related stuff. And I don't know if that also plays into how things are received and how things just kind of flowed because there is no pressure. We're not talking about some deadline that we have to meet for some client or, you know, some third party. But I look forward to the next one. I really, really do. And I also loved how as much as all of the attendees, received so much information and so much wisdom from the guest speaker, it was just as refreshing to hear the guest speaker. Like she had so many things to say about things that she learned from us sharing our reflections on her own story. I
mhm,
thought that was pretty cool.
mhm. Incredible, incredible, incredible. But thanks for sharing your thoughts, and you just gave me some other ideas to share with the founder of the group. And for those of you who are listening, if you're hearing this and when you said, people like mine, people just like me, I want you to know that um, it was mostly men in the group. And as you can see, you're looking on the screen, Lashika and I are African American descent, and we were the only two African Americans in the room. So if
Mhm.
ideas popped in your head like this must have been a women's group or this must have been a black thing, it wasn't that. Um,
Mhm.
and it was people from all over the world there. And that's another thing that I love is that we are so more connected than we think we are. Just like I said on
Yeah.
our first podcast after the election, we're more connected than we know. And I think
Yeah.
you know this technology has shown us that we can be on a Zoom, and even just listening to us now, whether you're listening to us on YouTube or in your car or wherever, just listening to this conversation, we're more connected than we realize. And so I think,
Yeah.
yeah, keep remembering that and keep remembering how much more we are alike. And yeah,
Mhm.
we really are. So many people took parts of the story that we heard today, and so many of you who are listening are going to take parts of what Sheik and I are saying and saying, yeah, I can relate to that. And so back to the question, when do you know that it's time to leave?
Mm.
Yeah,
When you get the feeling,
yeah.
you get that thought, it's time to investigate.
Mhm. Mhm. Keyword you said investigate, because sometimes when you get a thought, it may not always be the time to leave. I'm leaving. I'm done now.
Yeah.
Unless you know that you have that relationship with, like I said, with your higher power, your God. Because I say me, myself, and I, because we're three people. That's
Mhm.
we're three people because the myself and I am the person that's inside of me who really knows might be different from when when I be thinking, what who told you that? Myself can be wrong sometimes. So that's why I'm saying I got three personalities. It really is me, myself, and I. So
That's funny.
woo, girl,
Yeah,
hard.
that was thick,
Yeah, that was thick. That was thick. That was thick.
but it was so good.
Mhm. Mhm.
It was so good, and I loved that the end of her story was about how she defined leaving all of those situations into now she's really walking in freedom and leaving because she went from all of those situations of leaving situations, relationships, locations, all of those things. And to now she has set herself up to be able to travel around the world whenever she wants, and she can get up and leave. Like, there's so much freedom in that, to go from regretting leaving, or afraid to leave, or not sure to leave, and now her having the power, the authority, the freedom to just to leave. Like, I it that the way that her story just kinda changed it significantly with the same theme of leaving, it was just so profound to me.
Mhm. If you're listening and you're not sure what Lashika's talking about, she's talking
Um,
about a conversation that we were in this group, and this one person was sharing that that she knew when it was time to leave, or so that's what because you if you were like, what is she talking about? But
yes,
that,
thank you, Aretha.
yeah, no worries, no worries. Wow. So after this conversation today, like I said, I keep asking the question, do you know when it's time to leave? When is it time to leave? Maybe that's something you should be thinking about. We're at the end of 2024, going into 2025, and you might hear this years later, and you may be in the same spot wondering, is it time to leave? So we're going to leave you with this thought, and we'll see you on the next one.